Waycross presents an election forum for Hamilton County Treasurer. There are two individuals running for this office. They are, in alphabetical order, Robert A. Gehring and Seth T. Walsh. I'd like to welcome you to yet another Waycross election forum, this being for Hamilton County Treasurer. I'm Jason Grzgorek, Waycross Community Media's Government Access Coordinator, host and moderator for this evening. I'm very fortunate to have both candidates running for Treasurer this evening. To my left, Mr. Gehring, and to my right, Mr. Walsh. Glad that you can both join us this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. In a moment, I will be opening up the phone lines and emails after both Mr. Gehring and Mr. Walsh have the opportunity to give a 2-minute opening statement. After that, it's up to you. So to begin, Mr. Gehring, 2 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you very much. And I just want to thank you, Jason, for hosting these. I know it's a labor of love, and thank my opponent for being here as well, and thank the electorate for really caring about our elections. It's very important that people have elections. It's important for accountability, and it's really important for our entire country. So I want to thank the voters for having kept me in office for 25 years now, and I've done a few of these in the past. And again, Jason, I really appreciate you being here. We've got important issues in the Treasurer's office. We've had really tight budgets, which I'm sure we're going to get into tonight. And we've shown some real leadership in the Treasurer's office, attacking some of the blighted issues in our communities, and I'm looking forward to having that debate tonight.
Mr. Walsh, 2 minutes to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jason, for having us tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to my opponent for coming out as well tonight. It's been a pleasure to get to know you on the campaign trail. Thank you to Waycross Media, and thank you to everyone watching at home tonight. It's been a privilege to have the opportunity this year to present another idea for how the County Treasurer's Office can work. Very excited to discuss it more tonight, but I'll keep it simple to begin. I believe the County Treasurer's Office has the ability to be leading and spurring economic development all around Hamilton County. It's where my background comes in. I've been working in community development the last several years, running the Sedamsville CDC, and now currently running the College Hill Community Urban Redevelopment Corporation. Through these experiences, I've had the opportunity to work with the Treasurer's Office and see some ways I think that we can grow and improve it in the future, specifically through utilizing more development tools that are available through the County Treasurer's Office already, which can ultimately lead to more tax revenue coming into the county and decreasing the tax burden on individuals. So with that, I think we can turn it over to questions.
All right, wonderful. And as he said, that's up to you now. I will open the phone lines and email. For you voting audience at home, if you are watching with us on the 28th of September, please join in. 825-3971 is our phone number. Live at waycross.org is our email address. All questions will be answered. Make sure that all questions are open-ended so they are not pointed, so that all candidates can answer. As well as if you are calling, please give your name and part of town when you speak to our kind phone handler. And with that, I will open up the first question. Seth, let's begin. Top 3 issues you feel that are facing the Treasurer's Office. 1 minute to you.
Yeah, the first is I think that the Treasurer's Office can be leading and spurring more economic development around the county. With more development coming in, we can be increasing more tax revenue to the county as a whole, which can help solve our budget deficits as the county faces each and every year. The second, I believe, once development begins, we need to be protecting our long-term residents in these neighborhoods and these communities so that they are not forced out by rising property taxes. The third, I believe, is that we can improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the County Treasurer's Office to ensure that all tax dollars are being collected and that we are working with the community to ensure that nobody is being left behind.
Wonderful. Mr. Gehring, same question to you.
Certainly. So the top priority has been the budget issues. And we've had to reduce staff in our office. We've had deep budget cuts over the last 2 decades. And so that's always an issue. And I don't believe that government should try to do everything for every person. I think government needs to do its function, and I think that you have to look outside the box to find ways, which we have done, to actually increase revenues to the county to offset some of the government costs. So I don't believe in bigger, better government for everyone. First off, especially with the budget cuts we've seen, we've had 35% decrease in personnel since '07, and so budget safety is important as well. We have to secure the funds that are on deposit, and that's a very important issue also.
Time can get away from you,
It
obviously, when it comes to questions like this. Mr. Gehring, the next question is coming to you. What, if someone were to ask the treasurer, what makes you qualified to be such that individual? How would you answer that?
So every year, the Hamilton County Treasurer's Office collects $1.4 billion. And we have to collect that efficiently, effectively. We have to have an office, I believe, that answers everybody's phone call. We actually have a live person answering phone calls. That's a top priority for me. And we have to safe keep that money. And over the last years, especially since '08, we've seen big companies have lost millions of dollars with risky investments. We've seen the real estate market with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac losing money and government bailouts of banks. We've seen counties that have lost money. And Hamilton County, in 25 years that I've been the treasurer, has lost $0. Every penny is balanced every day. It is secured and safe, and I know how to do that.
Mr. Walsh, same question to you. What qualifies you to be the next Hamilton County Treasurer?
Yeah, my background working in community development has really put me on the ground and working in communities to experience the real needs of these communities, to see where we can be more effective in terms of working with the communities to actually enhance and achieve their neighborhood visions long term. This is something that I believe the county as a whole has been missing the last several years, and that we can be improving on and being more effective at in general. All around the county, we can be seeing the improvements that started happening over the Rhine, and you see happening in Walnut Hills and in various corners of the county. But it's been leaving other areas behind. I believe my experience working in the housing market in Sedamsville, trying to set the bare basic margins there, helping double the size of the largest business in that neighborhood, my experience in College Hill, working specifically in their business district to revitalize it, bring more businesses in, bringing people back to the community, really makes me qualified to understand the community needs so that the Treasurer's Office can actually work with them long term to achieve them and bring in more revenue as a whole.
Wonderful. Mr. Walsh, I'll start the next question, and then I think this is probably going to spur a little bit more rather than, I guess you would say, a one-and-done kind of answer here. You brought up economic development a lot in your last few statements, and I think that's something you're starting to see a lot in small communities as well as Hamilton County. Why is economic development important, and why should the treasurer be a part of that? Yeah,
economic development has a huge impact because you bring in new businesses. New businesses brings in more payroll taxes, income taxes, brings new people into the community as a whole, makes Hamilton County more exciting for people to want to live, work, and play in. It brings more sales taxes in because now the money is being spent in Hamilton County, usually by these small businesses that come in through the economic development process, specifically in the business districts that we see all around the county now. As that happens, and where I think the Treasurer's Office can get involved in that, is specifically working with the land bank to help neighborhoods achieve their visions of revitalizing their business districts that once thrived and flourished in our county and have fallen on hard times recently. As we revitalize them, utilizing the tools through the land bank and other possible means out there, we'll start to see more small businesses coming in, bringing in everything I just mentioned above. And that will only lead to Hamilton County doing better in the end.
Mr. Gehring.
Yeah, that's an important comment, really. The land bank has really proved to be a good spur for some economic development in our communities. About 4 years ago, I actually incorporated the land bank. I signed the papers, set it up. Then we got cooperation from the city and the county, and we now work the land bank through the Port Authority. And I'm currently president of the land bank, and as president of the land bank, we have done some really great projects in our community. the work is not done, unfortunately, at a lot of meetings we have for the land bank, we say, well, here's a good idea and here's a good idea. Well, where's the funding going to come from? And so that's always a challenge, but the land bank has been a very good vehicle to spur economic growth.
If you'd like to continue, you may, Mr. Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, the land bank, it's a tremendous tool that, obviously to some degree, it could always use more funding to be more efficient and effective and impactful on our communities. But it also can be a very powerful partner with the various communities as they are trying to attack their different areas, whichever area and vision they have long term. The land bank, I think, has been a great partner for the limited reach that it's had so far, and I look forward to seeing where it can grow to in the future and really hit the strides that we see it in other counties throughout the state of Ohio.
Mr. Gehring, if you care to continue as well.
Yeah, the land bank has really done a very good job with its limited resources. And when we set it up, we had to create a way that communities would agree to actually help fund it. And because we got agreement, the funding mechanism for the land bank works really well, and we've targeted certain neighborhoods and certain communities for development. And we will continue to do that with the land bank to really help spur economic growth throughout Hamilton County.
Great. Looking, obviously we're discussing things that need a little bit of money, and Mr. Gehring, you brought up in your opening statement, obviously budget is one of those tight things. You brought that up as one of the top 3 things that are affecting the Treasurer's office. How does one deal with, as the Treasurer, deal with that budget and then look at the budget of others?
So one of the things that I feel is that government should not try to do everything for every single person. Government needs to have a limited role because we just can't afford it. But within that growth area with government, what we can do is find economically neutral or actually revenue generating tools and ideas, one of which is the Treasurer's Optional Payment Plan. I instituted this payment plan to allow people to prepay their real estate taxes in monthly installments instead of twice a year, a big chunk of money. And this program actually generates income because the interest earned on those monthly payments goes back to fund the program and also to offset other governmental expenses.
Mr. Walsh, same question.
The budget deficit that we deal with on the countywide level is a tremendous hurdle to overcome, which is why we need to start thinking creatively about how we can utilize the Treasurer's office to work beyond collecting taxes and within a limited scope. There are a lot of communities out there working to revitalize themselves, looking into the future for what they can do on limited resources already, that if complemented with the County Treasurer's Office, actively seeking them out, working with those community partners, we can start working in their limited budget to complement them and start to spur more growth and development. When I went into Sedamsville, a lot of people told me not much could happen there. We worked on a tight budget in Sedamsville, and we were able to make tremendous impact, doubling the size of the largest business, beginning the first housing development in decades in the neighborhood, and have a longer-term plan for the revitalization of the majority of the neighborhood. This can be replicated at on a large scale for the county at a very small budget.
Mr. Gehring, care to respond?
Well, I think the leadership roles that I have been elected to really help the County Treasurer's Office and also help communities. I'm now president of the Hamilton County Budget Commission. I also serve as president of the Investment Advisory Committee, and I'm president of the Hamilton County Board of Revision, and I'm president of the Land Bank. And actually just recently, in order to help some city-county cooperation with the cooperation of the city solicitor and the city solicitor's office, the county treasurer, we've partnered up to deal with vacant properties. And we formed a vacant property task force to really focus on some of the areas that need help in our community and to deal with issues where government sometimes gets in the way instead of helps communities.
All right. Mr. Walsh, if you care to cap the question.
Yeah, I think it's really important to keep in mind that it's one of the biggest advantages of an elected office is that you don't have to spend a tremendous amount of money to have an impact in communities. It can be as simple as going out, being active in these communities, having weekly coffee sessions in various necks of all over Hamilton County to learn what's going on, to see what's happening, and to really get the on-the-ground feel of what is in place. I don't believe, and nobody wants to see their property taxes rise, which is why I think the county treasurer's office should be working to make these dreams a reality so that as a whole we can be decreasing that tax burden. I think it's fully possible, even with the decreasing budget, being creative and looking at how other county treasurers all around our state are doing it, because we're not the only ones that are feeling a budget crunch, but other ones are doing the job incredibly well with their limited resources.
Mr. Walsh, you brought up a lot of it in your statements, and I think it's worth delving into a little bit more, is obviously collaboration. A lot of offices are starting to do it a little bit more. Treasurer's office, you probably don't think of that right away. You've brought it up a number of times. How does the Treasurer's office begin to collaborate in new and innovative ways to help the county overcome, as we have seen, some budgetary pitfalls, so to speak?
Yeah, well, the first is to be more open and available by simply, like I said, being out there, being present, and having people know that we are seeking out their opinion. We're not simply sending them a tax bill once or twice a year. By being engaged in the community, people with the ideas will find you. There are a lot of people in Hamilton County. We see this all the time. That's why we're becoming a hub for entrepreneurship. People are creative out there. People have ideas. You travel to these various communities all throughout Hamilton County. Everyone's got an idea for their neighborhood. Everyone knows how it can be better. We need to listen to them. We need to engage them. We need to make it easier for them to know they can talk to us. And we need to put ourselves in a position where they don't have to seek us out. They're going to run into us on accident, and they're going to be able to tell us the idea because we want to hear it.
Okay. Mr. Gehring, same question.
Yeah, so I would encourage anyone to look at my website, keepgehringtreasure.com, and look at my resume, look at the things that I've done with the Treasurer's Office, look at the things that I've done in our community, volunteering, being active in our community. And I really think that a very important factor that we don't want to gloss over is the fact that the County Treasurer's Office has to safely secure $1.4 billion. And that's an important number because we have to balance every day to the penny, and we have to invest those funds, not like Cuyahoga County, which lost over $100 million because their treasurer wasn't doing it right, not like Orange County, where they've had great losses of basically fiduciary funds. And my background, I started opening mail in the Treasurer's Office out of high school and have done almost every job there.
All right. Because our time is running short, I would volley you back. However, I want to make sure we get a good amount of closing time as well, and I do have one final question. Mr. Gehring, we've talked about the budget. We've talked about how things are flowing, and one of the things that Mr. Walsh brought up is the idea of efficiency, and obviously we need to make a tight running ship. As treasurer, how does one do that, especially when dealing with the amount of money that you normally do for the county?
So since 1992, the Hamilton County Treasurer's General Fund budget has dropped 50%. And so we are doing more with less. And in fact, we do that by innovative programs that generate extra income for taxpayers, as opposed to things that cost taxpayer money. We're really careful in our office. We've lost a number of people. We're down 35% since '07 in terms of our office staff. And so you do have to do more with less, and that's a very important thing to me for government to do.
Mr. Walsh, same question.
Yeah, first off, we need to play to our strengths, and that's recognizing what the Treasurer's Office needs to do first and foremost. It is protecting that $1.4 billion we collect every year. And then it's figuring out how we can work within that realm to be engaged in the community, how we can be engaged with the constituents so that we are reacting, we're proactive instead of reactive to the concerns that pop up. When you're proactive, you can actually start to make the office more efficient. You won't be leaving money on the table because we weren't ready for it or we didn't expect that situation. When we start working with the community more, recognizing that they each have their own unique individual set of circumstances, but we still work for the same end goal of bringing everyone to the table to pay their fair share, we can have a tremendous impact on making this office more efficient, more effective, and more beneficial for the county.
Wonderful. Thank you. Unfortunately, we have reached the bottom of the time, so I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to have up to a 1-minute closing statement. Mr. Walsh, we'll start with you on that.
Yeah, the Hamilton County Treasurer's Office is probably not an office that many of us have thought of before, but I think we both agree it is a very crucial office to the success of Hamilton County. It's an office that I appreciate you taking the time to learn about today. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. Visit our website, sethtwalsh.com. We have information on there. We're more than happy to answer questions. I really believe this office has the tremendous potential to become one of the driving forces in Hamilton County for leading and spurring more economic development. We all know where the areas are that it can happen, and with a little bit of innovation, we can make it a reality. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And Mr. Gehring, 1 minute
Yes.
to you.
Well, thanks again for putting on this election forum 2016, and I've really appreciated the time spent on the campaign trail. I'm out every night shaking hands, and it's really great to hear input from people in our community. I really believe that the Treasurer's Office is an important office. We safekeep every penny. We invested very securely. I wrote the very first investment policy for Hamilton County. But the most important thing is on November 8th, I'll need your endorsement. And I've been endorsed now by the local police union, the Fraternal Order of Police, and on November 8th, I hope you'll endorse me in the ballot box.
Thank you. Mr. Gehring, Mr. Walsh, thank you for joining us this evening. And I'd also like to thank all of you for joining us as well. We've given you the information as well as giving you the opportunity to listen to those who are running for the office of treasurer. If you need more information, you can listen to or watch all of the programming from the Waycross election forums up till the election night of November 8th. If you need more information, please contact votehamiltoncounty.org. That is the Board of Elections website. There you will get all the information from polls to places to information on issues and candidates that affect you. Now, the important thing is that you've gathered the information, but it is more important to make an informed vote on November 8th. Thank you, and have a great evening. Waycross takes no position on candidates or issues. We do these forums so that our residents may be better informed voters for the November 8th election.